Hey fans and subscribers, this is your host Joe with the Gaming for Insight channel with you to bring another segment of Quick Chat. And with me is guest Gamers Generation. Gamers Generation, welcome to Quick Chat.
Hello there. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. And we are talking about XR glasses. I understand from the video content that you upload that you are a subject matter expert. So I am happy to have you here on the segment to talk about XR glasses. And there's been so much excitement about these glasses amongst content creators and getting them and using them with gaming handhelds. Are they worth the hype?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I'm so thankful to be on here. Thank you. I think they really are worth the hype. They are absolutely a game changer. I know that there are a lot of those big thumbnails out there that are really clickbaity, but they really are something else.
And with these glasses, we talk about XR. Is that similar to VR, AR? Are there differences between those, or does XR, is it a full encompassing experience with those different technologies?
Yeah, you got some great questions today, Joe. I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about these terms. AR, MR, XR, VR. I think recently with the release of Android XR, this is pushed by Google to have a different version of Android on these type of VR headsets. They've tried to rebrand this term XR as all-encompassing. I think previous to that, though, there is a little bit of a discrepancy and separation between those terms. For me personally, I think there is a lot of overlap probably between AR and XR and MRs. And so for the audience unfamiliar with those terms, it's augmented reality, mixed reality, and extended reality. A lot of those are, there's a lot of similarities between them. Personally, for me, virtual reality is the one that really stands apart from those. There's some nuanced differences between them.
And with XR glasses, how do you know if XR is a technology that you should try for those that have gaming handhelds? Are there any specific use cases in which, depending on the gaming handheld that I have, that I would consider trying XR?
Yeah, I think for these glasses, which are typically branded as AR or XR glasses, and apologies, I should have explained this a little further when you asked the last question. I think when we're talking about augmenting reality or extending reality, mixed reality, typically that means like the earliest version that I can think of that people might be able to relate to is like Pokemon Go, right? Like you would hold your phone up and then you would see the physical world, and then you would see like a digital representation of a Pokemon in your physical space. And that's what they would consider like an AR experience, right? And so like people could probably argue that that's also an XR or an MR experience as well. So when it comes to these types of glasses, they're probably, I guess, the most basic form you would call them of XR. I wouldn't call them MR personally, because the mixed reality aspect means that you're kind of interacting with it, right? And for these glasses, you're not really interacting. It's, I guess, to put it very simply, it's an overlay, like a big image that you would see projected in front of you. And that's why you see those thumbnails with these people who have these, really outrageous expressions that with a blown up screen in front of them.
So what you're telling me is it's a little bit different than the Nintendo Virtual Boy experience.
Yeah, just a little bit. Way more vibrant, a lot better colors, as I would say for sure. But when it comes to using them on handhelds, I would say like for anyone who really wanted that kind of experience of having like a big theater, big immersive like theater gaming room, or they want this personal experience, even on the plane or something like that, and your handheld, whatever the size of that display is, anywhere from let's say 3.5 inches, which I know as a form factor Joe really likes, up to Legion Go's 8.8 inches or even bigger. These glasses will give you an experience like no other, is what I would say.
Yeah, I can see that being very comfortable, especially for air travel and being able to put back the seat and then just put on the glasses and not have to have your head tilted downward and just in a relaxed ergonomic position, just be able to game. Now, with XR glasses, you've been using these for a little while. I mean, you've really dug deep into the technology and used different types as well, from what I understand and looking at the content on your channel. Do you find that there are any limitations, or is there a boundary to consider or think about in the XR experience compared to just looking at the display on the gaming handheld?
Oh yeah, that's another really good question too. Yeah, so that misconception that I was mentioning earlier about those different terms being separate from say VR, I would consider the primary limitation being that VR experience. Like you're not going to be able to play Batman Arkham Shadow or the latest Crisis VR experience or those types of games where you're completely in this digital world and you don't see your physical world. There's that misconception. I get a lot of questions even on my videos. Can you play Steam VR games with these glasses? And you cannot. It's kind of a disconnected experience in that context. So you're playing what a lot of the VR enthusiasts and gaming community call flat games. Those are basically games that you would play on your handheld normally, but it's on that big screen in front of you. Right. So you imagine if you're looking out into a distance, you would see like this really big screen that's kind of projected in front of your face. But if you're very close up to a wall, just because of the way your eyes and your peripheral vision works, it would be like holding up a phone or a tablet to your face.
And that's great information there to understand what exactly you would be experiencing with these XR glasses. So, if you want to get started with XR glasses, what's the first step?
Yeah, for sure. Yes, thank you, Joe. So I would say for the most part, because of these XR glasses are becoming way more mainstream, you will see them listed as AR or XR glasses typically, as I mentioned. So just know that as of right now, anyway, they're using the same type of technology and the same type of, let's say, like optics. So there's really not going to be much of a difference between them when it comes to using them for handhelds, except for if you wanted to do some productivity stuff, and then you might have to rely on the company's dedicated or proprietary software. And so that's like different, and that's outside of the scope of this video. But for the purpose of gaming on these things, I think the best way to get the experience now is to realistically order them from Amazon, try them out because Amazon has like, an easy return policy. And the Vitcher glasses, they're actually now being sold on Best Buy as well. So, hopefully that means that they'll be available in store and you could just go in and try them in store as well. If you're really apprehensive about it, I would say, yeah, try buying these from one of those big companies so that you can return it if you don't like it. Otherwise, if you already know kind of what that experience looks like for you, don't hesitate to buy them directly from the stores because the big brands, primarily, let's say Vitcher, X-Real, Rokid, they're pretty well known in the space now. They've been around for at least 2 years or so. So, people are not going to be, bamboozled or hoodwinked and lose their money.
All right. Well, I appreciate all of the information, Gamers Generation. Thanks so much for joining me on Quick Chat.
Thanks for having me.